right, YouTube, what's up? All right, so let's listen. I checked out Dante. All right, I posted last night and got results. Got results. That's all that matters. You got to start somewhere. However, I didn't do the formula correctly totally, and I still got results. So I'm going to keep doing this. Everything, you got to ride it. Ride it while it's going. You got to ride that wave. All right, things change, life changes. This is what we teach in school a lot of times. I'm an ISS teacher or instructor or coordinator or whatever they call us these days. And one of the important things you got to teach is adaptability, right? This whole world is changing. AI has changed the world. Things are changing constantly. So whether it's short-lived, long-lived, whatever, Dante has given us a formula to get on board, right? You got to get on the boat while it's going, right? Now, once you get out in the deep water, you may have to swim, you may have to abandon ship, whatever. You may have to change directions. A storm may come, whatever may happen. So don't worry about the naysayers, those who, saying, it's short-lived. Yeah, well, this is what happens in industry. This is what happened with technology. A lot of what I teach or instruct the kids on just so they understand history, and I was a world history teacher for 2 years, and now I'm doing ISS in the middle school, that things change. If you don't understand those trends, things will change. And so that's just part of life, right? One of the books, famous books or nice books, is management is Who Moved My Cheese, right? And so these are the things that happen. So let's go on from there. So anyway, I went on and posted, get my first one. I had a few videos up in July, didn't do anything for the last couple of months, and I hadn't really been posting every day. And so, that comes with the territory. But nonetheless, Dante London has gotten me motivated just by his enthusiasm. He has a great personality, he and his wife, and, nonetheless. So I tried it out. It at least got me reignited for 2025, right? For 2025, right? And so as we look at how things happen, I ended off last night saying, or yesterday in my last post saying, we were starting back to school the next day, which is Monday. However, here in North Carolina, we had a little ice and a little rain, a little sleet, and so school was delayed for 2 hours, and then it wound up being delayed the entire day. And so we did get another update this evening about 5, a little after 5:20, 5:27, somewhere there, and that there'll be another 2-hour delay in the morning. Now we're supposed to get a lot more weather, sleet this evening and freezing rain in the morning, and so we'll see how that goes. But nonetheless, I went on, I did what he said, I posted. What he's saying though is, and what some people I think get misconstrued, is that he's saying it's easy. What is easy is the ability to download and upload immediately without having to do a lot of editing. The YouTube suite or studio is an actual thing that actually lets you record and you can upload it immediately without editing. And he's talking about it's more of a real life situation. No props, no a lot of pop and circumstance, set design, and all of which I like. But if this will get the ball rolling, why not try it, right? And so I find the brother to be authentic and truthful in what he's doing. I give it value. And one of the things I talk about is the value of integrity, right? These are the things the intangibles. He's not trying to get your money, right? He's not trying to do those things, but nothing wrong with that, right? That's the free enterprise system, right? All he's saying is that let's get on board. He's trying to help people get out there. And what you do after that, it's on you, right? But I at least give the brother a try, and I give him, he's added value to my life. He's adding value to a lot of people just by the little knowledge or the knowledge that he's dropped, the gem that he dropped. And it's probably nothing new. Somebody else probably had it too, but this is the game. I connected with him, and that's what they say. You connect with your tribe. I like the young brother. I like motivating young people, keeping them abreast of what's going on. A lot of times I need to get motivated myself, right? So this is what we're doing here, right? So here's the deal. I went on and I got views. And so now I'm going to change the title, and I'm going to put in the title that they said, which I didn't do, right? And we're going to see how it goes. And I'm going to keep on doing these because I like the idea of I don't have to sit there and edit, and I can just come off the dome and say whatever, talk about whatever I want to talk about. And I'm talking about basically my thing's going to be the ISS system in schools and what we're trying to do in the school right now The principal who hired me saw my resume. He saw what I had been doing in the past, over the past years, in schools locally, not here in North Carolina, but in Miami, Florida. And so he hired me. And basically, I'm just running the program that I see that's fit, and I think he approves of it. It's not where we're just sitting there. We're going to motivate the kids. And parents, you got to come on. If you're not paying attention to what your children are doing and thinking that they're little saints, and they're not, and they're doing some interesting things, and I'll be covering that when I get back in the classroom. I'm going to show you that information, how we approach this now in order to get them back on track, right? You're not going to save everybody, but, you know, if you give them information, and I've seen a large turnaround with a lot of some of the kids that have been somewhat of a problem, not understanding, you know, that they're, you know, they need to control themselves, and they need to watch how they speak to people and talk to people. And on that note, I want to express the value of having integrity and or knowing how to be professional. Off to my right here is a picture of Supervisor Karen. This is a true story. And I tell kids all the time, you may not like everybody, and everybody may not like you. I know we're into this, what we like, and Facebook, we're liking this, we're liking that, but everybody's not going to like you. And the unfortunate part about it is when these people are in position, male or female, and they're bullies, and they have no personal skills, which is something that they're trying to teach these students. You got to have personal skills, personal skills in order to deal with people, right? You need to know how. You're not a dictator, you know. And I don't even really like to use the word boss. It has negative connotations for me. The supervisors, managers, you know, I address my superiors that way. I don't really get into my boss this, and that's just a personal thing. I don't like the boss thing, right? We all have our hang-ups. So nonetheless, you see Karen here, supervisor walks in, comes in off the street, and of course, I'm willing to work with anybody. I'm doing my job. But one day she walks in and says, in front of other people in the office, you're not doing your job. Being from South Florida to 305 Miami, and, you know, I'm like, wait a minute. You know, I snap back, clap back. Obviously, I didn't say anything negative as far as profanity, but I snap back because you're jugging at me in front of other people, right? And so this is what you should not be as a manager, as a supervisor, and this is what we're trying to teach kids. But we need to teach a lot of adults the same thing. You can't not talk to grown people the way you talk to children, and children deserve an amount of respect in how you address them as well as adults, and it's a two-way street. But you get somebody that comes in and says that you're not doing your job, and they don't really know what your job is or whatever, and all of a sudden now you are, what do they call it? It's a toxic environment, right? It's a toxic workspace. And this is what a lot of you all are dealing with, because you got people who want to be tyrants, you know, they want to be dictators, and they don't know how to talk to people, right? Now, it's a two-way street. I've been in a lot of positions where I have to defend employees as a representative, and I tell them, you got a job to do. You need to do the job. You need to be there on time. You need to do all the things that you need to do, and it needs to be good communication. And this is what we're trying to teach the kids. You got to be able to communicate. Now, the problem is you can't talk to an adult like they're a child, right? And on the same token, the employee has to maintain a certain amount of respect and decorum when it comes to the supervisor. And it's a two-way street because we're trying to get a mission accomplished, right? And we like to run around talking about team, and, you know, there's no I in team, but, you know, when you're coming at people from an individual perspective of whatever your background is, and we all come from different backgrounds, and you don't know how to communicate with your employees, you're going to have a problem. So one of my favorite shows was The Undercover Boss, right? Even though that's the word I don't really do, right? I don't really do the word boss. But anyway, I really love that show because it showed how coming into a situation, you don't get all the information as a superior, and you may think what you're doing is working correctly, but you got to ask the people on the ground level, right? You got to ask the people doing the job. You know, it may seem like a grandiose idea to you, but then again, it's not actually functionable in the real world. It's like getting your degree or anything else. What happens in the textbook versus what happens in reality are two different things, right? And so we learn that as we get in the game, right? we have a game plan, but that game plan may change at any time, and we may see something we're not familiar with, and we have to change up. It's just simple as that. So what Dante is saying, and I agree with, and this is what I'm going to work on, is one of the things you do with YouTube is bring your personal experience and or your career experience or your job and give an outlook on how that operates within the system or within your world, how it affects your life. Now, I took basically a 43% cut in order to do this job, just because some things have been moved around in the school board here, and so you have to adjust, right? And so it's not anything beneath me. I've done a whole lot of different things, and I'll get more into that. But this is why I bring a wealth of knowledge to young people in order to motivate them, in order to get what they need to get in order to actually be successful. And so sometimes, I feel like a hypocrite because I don't do all the things I'm supposed to do, right? And so, how your parents say, do as I say, not as I do. And so what I'm working on this year is to get myself back in line with what I know I need to do. And that's what we all need to do. We all need to reset. So my thing is reset 2025, do a reset. And this is part of the reset. And I thank Dante London for helping me mentally get the reset. And again, the easy part is that when you go on and you do the suite allows you, or the studio, I keep saying suite. The studio allows you to do everything you need to do, upload the video, put in the titles, do all the things you need to do without all the editing. Now, I love to edit. I've edited this picture up here to keep the actual, for the most part, it is now kept the person, the identity secret without showing their face. They had on a mask during the COVID era, but nonetheless, this individual, Supervisor Karen, and some of you may have a Supervisor Karen, and you've got to deal with that. And this is why YouTube is valuable, right? Because YouTube will allow you, and what London's talking about, allows you a quick start, hopefully, to get up views and get some momentum going so you can be independent and you're not dependent upon a system, because nobody owes you a job, right? Now, if they do hire you, there's a certain way they should treat you and you should treat them, and we all live happily ever after. We get the job accomplished and we go on about our business. But when you get individuals who have their personal egos and or they having problems personally or whatever it is going on, and they want to bully employees, this is why we have these toxic environments in workspaces, and they become volatile, it's stressful, it's demeaning, all of those things. And so here's the irony of it all, right? This individual basically destroyed the department and the employees in it and got away with it. Yeah, but you always, the come up comes on, right? What goes up must come down. And so ironically, because God says, I'll make your enemies your footstool. And I used to say constantly, don't think you're the smartest person in the room, right? And because everybody can tell you something. You can teach, you can learn something from anybody. Have respect, listen, pay attention, treat the custodian, the food service worker, the person, the cashier, people you meet in the store. They're doing a job, and they should act as if they want to be there and not treat you as if you're imposing on them. So there's a lot to go on with these work environments, right? And unless you're your own boss, you still are working for somebody. You're working for your customer, right? But this individual, it's a case that still leaves a sour taste in my mouth because the Spirit of the Lord is in my heart. Forgiving, I just don't have an emotion. Now, here's the ironic part, right? After you destroy the department and you get away with it for the most part, well, what happens is your day comes. It's kind of what they say, when you don't stand up for other people, you don't do what you're supposed to do, then eventually they come for you. So apparently they came for her, and she had to resign, or they were going to fire her or whatever, but she was starting to catch the hell that she was giving everybody else, and so she jumped ship. This is what's funny in life, right? So here's what the deal is. But all of a sudden, though, somehow, God works it out, she winds up in the same place I am working. Well, okay, now I'm looking at you, I'm wondering, okay, what happened? How we were so high and mighty, and now we've fallen so far. And not that the job that I'm doing, whatever, is less, it's just that you were in charge of everything, and you were the manager's right hand, and you're bragging about how, you know, they depend on you or he depends on you. But now what happened? See, when the cards flip, now you're out, right? And so now you get to see me, and now all of a sudden we're on a different playing field, right? And so I handled it as I should have. I didn't have anything to say to her other than the initial meeting. I said, hello, how you doing? And kept it moving. And so we never crossed paths. Now, the great part about the new year is this person has now found her tenure to retire, which was her goal. And when she was let go from the other institution, she was shy of having that tenure and needed to recoup these next couple months or a year in order to retire. So 2025, she's now gone on and retired apparently, and that's the way it goes. But God gave me the ability to look at you and look at you constantly, and you see me. And these are the same people you see that you dog, the same people that you intimidate, the same people that you think that you're a bully. And a lot of what we teach in school is, bullying, right? And bullying comes in many forms, right? You've got the ability to make somebody's life miserable, and you do it because it's fun to you. But then it's not so much fun because you were miserable after the tables turned. So this is Karen, Supervisor Karen. And Supervisor Karen is holding a camera, right? So here's the nit and grit of what happened, right? I'm doing my job. Supervisor Karen is off to my right shoulder, right? And this is actually how it was in the office. She comes up, and I happen to look back, and I said, are you recording me? And she's like standing back, recording me. All right, and so I get a little antsy and irritated at this point, but I said, okay, I'm gonna chill. Right? Because we already went through this a few months ago, or however long ago it was. I don't even remember. I have all the documentation because I keep good records as far as that's concerned. That's just one of my things, right? But you walked in the office and said, I'm not doing my job. You're not really here, been here 3 or 4 months or less. And now, fast forward, whether it's almost a year later or whatever, now we're back. You're recording me. What are you recording me for, right? And so I get up and I have to go into another building because I'm doing audit and inventory and whatever. I'm checking some info. So she's following me out the office to the passageway to another building, recording me, right? So we get in this room and I'm calculating or I'm counting items for inventory. And so what you see here, and I'll show you a close-up, right here, she pulls back because she has the camera here recording me, but I decided, well, I've got my phone. Let's play, two can play this game. So I whip out my phone and I turn to take her picture, which is this photo, right? And so she moves the camera to the side, right? And so what I did was I put this meme up here, this red-eyed, red-faced meme up here to somewhat disguise the identity of the individual, but she had on a mask because this is probably during the COVID era, right? And so she's got on this mask, and so I don't want to divulge all of her, whatever. It's irrelevant at this point, but it gives me great pleasure to show you that this is what goes on in office spaces. This is what people are dealing with, right? And, a lot of times we allow these individuals to carry on and go on and do their dirt, and nobody does anything about it. My wife now had a few incidents with her male supervisors or manager doing this years ago. And then when we got here, she got in a situation where you had a bad situation where this guy's, she does her job. We're always on time. We come to work every day. We don't waste the time. We do what we're supposed to do. And it seems to be this pick, right, on certain people. Now, you're picked with the wrong people. The people who are doing the job, you should leave them alone, right? But you let everybody else run around and do whatever they want to do. And, it's this cover-up kind of thing where you have your favorites, right? Some people are just doing their job. Just let the people do their job, okay? So Karen is dangerous, right? This is kind of like the Karen in the New York story where she calls the cops and says that this guy is threatening her. And you see these Karens on YouTube and on different platforms where they're going off acting out, carrying out these horrendous activities like somebody's threatening to do something to them, which is not the case. So then they run off and they tell a different story that you're the aggressor when they're actually they're the passive aggressor, right? So this is the danger in your workspace in a lot of cases. But I've been blessed. I've had several managers and supervisors and people in authority that have been excellent companies and people to work with and work for. And so this is not the norm, but I've been in a few situations because they don't really like people who are going to play by the rules or go by the book, you know. And so you become a target for whatever reason. Maybe they don't like you, you know, whatever. They don't like the way you walk, they don't like the way you talk, whatever the case may be. But what it is saying here is that Supervisor Karen is that person who is going to be your nemesis, right? They're going to find anything they can to discredit you. They want to do whatever they want to do and get away with it, and then run around as if they're being the victim, you know. And so this is that whole game plan there. So Supervisor Karen is one of the things that we're trying to keep our young people and understand, teaching them in school that, look, your teachers, your adults, you need to treat them with a certain amount of respect. And what we go over, and I'll show you this, what we go over in these ISS sessions where these kids are with me for a day, 2 days, 3 days, and if they are kicked out for fighting or whatever, they're going home for 10, 5 days. But we're trying to bring a new twist to this where these kids are getting the information that they need to become employable, right? Because a lot of what we cover, and I'll go over it, a lot of what we cover is important that they understand that they need to be on time. Everything that we're doing in school is actually a stepping stone for you getting out into life when you get your first job, right? And these cell phones, you can't really be on the cell phone. People are not going to pay you to be on the cell phone, right? You're trading your time for money, and they're not going to be paying you to do your social media on their time, as far as you just playing around doing whatever, right? Unless you get permission and or you understand that what you're doing doesn't conflict with what the operation entails, right? Which is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be in conflict with what I'm doing. I'm just going to show you how my day kind of starts and pretty much ends. It's not going to involve any of the students or anything. It's going to be strictly talking about the whole process of the ISS, and mainly to get parents, if your kid is becoming a problem in school for whatever reason, you need to be at the forefront of that. It's your responsibility to teach your, you know, when I was growing up, what do we call it? Home training. Got to have some home training, right? Because it looks bad on the parent. And I understand that your kid will come and say, oh, it wasn't me. And the first thing they come in to tell me is, I didn't do nothing. And I'm like, I go through this whole litany of reasons. Yeah, you did something. Come on, right? And at some point, you got to know how to pull that horse back. Whoa, Nelly, right? Keep your mouth shut. Listen to what's being said. Comply with the instructions, and you can find yourself staying out of a whole lot of trouble that way. So this is what it's going to be about, and I'm using Dante London's advice, and I'm going to put out something work related. Hopefully this will be of value to you, and you'll tune in. But again, this is Karen. Karen is dangerous. This is Karen. Karen is dangerous, and if you got a Karen, right, make sure you cover yourself, right? Documentation, right? Because Karen's going to run to the supervisor or run to HR and scream that you somehow disrespected her, and she's going to change the game. And this recording, I could have taken this to a whole different level, and they put me through a lot mentally, but I've been there before. Trust me, I was not what they wanted. But again, as you get older, you let certain things go. But I've been in battles, right, with City Hall and government and whatever else. So I could have made this a whole lot worse. But I took it on the chin, and guess how it ended? Well, I got to see Karen again on her way out the door, as she'd been demoted from her little lofty position, and now she was back down on earth. And wasn't doing too well in her new position because she didn't really, part of it was she probably felt it was beneath her and frustrated. And the fact that you see me every day, or not, we didn't have a lot of contact, but you knew I was there and I knew you were there. And so what goes up must come down. Later.